You mow a nice lawn.
Oh, thank you, son.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
Want to have a catch?
I'd like that very much. Is this heaven?
No. It's Record Journal Athletes of the Week.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you may happen to be tuning in. I am Brian Carpenter, sports editor of the Meriden Record Journal. Welcome to the Week 5 episode of Spring Record Journal Athletes of the Week. And Aaron, here it is, man. We are on the treadmill, and the treadmill goes very fast, does it not? Yes, at about a 10% incline and at full speed ahead. We are in the last full week of the regular season. Postseason is right around the corner. A couple more rivalry games in the CCC. Got the SEC tournaments coming up, some CCC tournaments. Then, of course, the state tournaments beyond that. Summer still seems like a distant mirage, does it not, Aaron? But the good thing is so much is so very exciting from here on in. So let's bring it home hard down the final lap, like I know all our track kids will do down the stretch. All right, let's hit reset and get right after it for our Week 5 show. Our Week 4 winners you saw at the top were from Maloney softball, Miss Isabel Smith, and from Cheshire lacrosse, Mr. Charles Kurtz. Tip of the cap to you, Charles, for getting career goal number 100 on Tuesday night against New Fairfield. And just before we move on from Week 4, I got to mention, Aaron, you saw the voting totals. Charles Kurtz won by 1 vote ahead of Mr. Frankie Buteau of Southington Baseball. Now we're shooting on Wednesday, and great consolation prize for Frankie Buteau, of course, is that he and the Blue Knights beat previously undefeated Windsor 4-3 on Tuesday, about the time Charles Kurtz was getting career goal number 100. So the moral of this story is the guys we picked last week were spot on, and not surprised to see a close vote in their race. All right, we're going to get on with the Week 5 slate of candidates. Don't know if this Mike is picking it up, but my phone is ringing inside the house, and I'm going to just ignore it because this show is more important than a spam call that's coming in at about 11:30 in the morning on a Wednesday here in the beautiful month of May. We got 3 more boys candidates, 3 more girls candidates, and Aaron, we were just talking about this, in the spring it gets so hard to pick kids because you go through the week and things are looking good on Friday, and then Monday comes and the teams play again and things change, and then it rains and then it snows. Now it doesn't snow, but it rains very hard usually. Teams cancel, postpone, reschedule, and they're playing like almost every day, and it's like things change day to day. But we feel we have a good slate and right up to speed as best we can be. So where are we going to start? Yes, on the west side of Meriden. Platte baseball in the midst of a fantastic season. Coach Brian McCarty and his boys, they are 13-4 going into today's game against South Windsor. They have clinched at least a share of the CCC South Conference title, and they did so with a pair of 3-1 victories last week against Berlin and South Windsor. Am I right? No, because they're playing South Windsor today. It was against Lewis Mills. They beat 3-1. 3-1 against Berlin, 3-1 against Lewis Mills. And you know who's in the middle of both of them? Yes, the left-hander, the senior, Mr. Ami Velez. He was a nominee last year, nominee again this week for good reason. 6 2/3 innings pitched against Berlin at Sage Park. Also had an RBI double in that game. Next day against Lewis Mills at home, 3 hits, 2 runs. Ami Velez and the Panthers looking to wrap up that CC South Division banner. And who would they have to do it against? Of course, who else? Rival Maloney. They play Monday, Seppa Field, 4 o'clock. Looking forward to that game. Aaron, you can put that on your calendar. That's where you're going to be. For now, Mr. Ami Velez, boys candidate number 1 here in Week 5. Second nominee, also a baseball player. He plays down at Sheehan. He is junior, Mr. Matthew McConey. And also another fine week for him. Saturday, homered and a 2-run double against Xavier right over across the river at Palmer Field. And then on, which day was it, Aaron? Because they all start to meld together. I know when it was. It was Monday down in Madison against Daniel Hand. Matthew takes the mound, goes the distance, 5-hitter and a 3-2 win against Hand. Matthew McConey, junior, in the midst of a very good season. And, of course, we got to say, this is the third Sheehan baseball player we've nominated, and for good reason. They're a good team. They're 10-7, but more than that, just for sheer entertainment value. How do you get any better than the Sheehan Titans? Their games are just crazy. They have, in these games where no lead is ever safe, and it's usually Sheehan that's coming from behind and overtaking teams. They did it against Cromwell. They did it against Lyman Hall, and they did it a second time against Lyman Hall. But, of course, that was the protest game that is being made up Thursday at Pat Wall at 3:45. We got that one on our schedule as well. For now, Matthew McConey, boys nominee number 2 here in week 5. Third and final nominee. He is a golfer. He is from Cheshire. And this guy wasn't easy to pick just because he's on a team that is so good. But we're going with this guy right here. Junior captain, Mr. A.J. Depalo, Anthony Depalo. He got right on the radar screen with a 34 at Southington Country Club against Hamden. It's the low score of the season. And then he shot a 39 over at Lyman Orchards. And then just the other day, he had a 38 over at the Tradition at Oak Lane against Amity. And you'd think, oh, wow, Depalo, 3 times under 40. Bet you he won the medal in every match. Believe it or not, no, because his team is so good. He's been sharing it with his teammates. Jack Brewster, Nick Fortunato, Riley Brabant. Hey, they say in basketball it only takes 5. In golf it only takes 4. Watch for the Cheshire Rams. They won 6 in a row. They're 10-2, and their scoring average is second in Division I to only Fairfield Prep. A.J. Depalo, he's ranking individually in the top 20 statewide. He is boys nominee number 3 here in week 5. All right, our girls. Hey, listen, you saw at the top of the show, Isabel Smith from Maloney Softball won. Week before that, it was Morgan Pelletier of Maloney Softball. You're saying, Carpenter, are you really giving us a 3rd Maloney Spartan in a row? And the answer is yes, and for good reason. Right here, senior catcher, all-state catcher, Miss Maddie Laval. Terrific career. Since her freshman year, she's been on the All-RJ team. And last Friday in Middletown, she went 5 for 6. She homered, and she drove in 5 runs. It's like, we're going with Maddie. No one's had a day that productive, or very few softball players have, and all the good softball teams we have in the area. Maddie was 5 for 6, homer, all these RBIs. And then just the other day against Newington, she went 4 for 5, homered again, this of the inside the park variety, and drove in 6 runs. Bottom line is, in her last 2 games, Madison Laval, 9 for 11. She's at 2 homers and driven in 11 runs. She's now batting .552 on the season. And yes, for a 3rd straight week, the Maloney Lady Spartans have a nominee, and she is Miss Madison Laval. Congratulations to you, Maddie. Good to have you aboard here in week 5. Second nominee, a couple teams that are doing very well. And again, these are teams that it's hard to single out one player, but we want to acknowledge how successful they've been. Sticking in Meriden, Wilcox Tech, girls tennis. Right here, Miss Sochi Rangel. Actually, you know, Aaron, I'm glad you spoke with her the other day when you took her photo, because she has an oddly spelled name. It's Xochilt. Nice Mexican name, pronounced Sochi. And the last name is Rangel, rhyming with angel. And really, that's been the Wilcox Tech girls tennis team this year. Coach Rob Janiga girls 15-3. They have 2 matches left on the road at New Britain and Sheehan. One of the best seasons ever in program history. And we're going with Sochi because she is the #1 singles player. Got Perla Diaz, Gia Alvarez, Katrine Chen. Those are the singles players. Miss Rangel, she's the #1 singles player, and she is girls nominee number 2 here in week 5. Third and final nominee from another team really doing well this year. Perhaps never had a season as good as this. Southington girls lacrosse. They're 10-4, and very, very interested to see what they can do in the state tournament. Got a bunch of good players, including this young lady, Miss Gabby Castingley. She's a senior. She's going on to play Division I lacrosse at Merrimack. And going into Tuesday night's game up the road here in South Windsor, she had 27 goals on the season. Now, the Blue Knights lost in overtime 11-10. And here's the thing. I mentioned their record, 10-4. The 10 wins have been pretty emphatic. Like I said, Gabby's got 27 goals, and she is just one of many girls who really lights it up for the Lady Knights. And those 4 losses, they were all by 2 goals or less. It's a very good programs like South Windsor, Glastonbury, Farmington. So Southington is really moving up the ranks in girls lacrosse, and players like Gabby Castingley, who grew up playing the game, are a big part of it. Like I said, she'll be at Merrimack next year. For now, girls nominee number 3 here in week 5. And on that note, Aaron, I've got yard work to do. I really don't, but it's so nice out. I just can't bring myself to go sit in front of my laptop while the sun is shining and I'm working on my most beautiful tan. Someday I'm going to be nice and tan just like you. In the meantime, I want you folks to go online and vote for our Week 5 slate of candidates. myrecordjournal.com/athletes. It's Wednesday at 6. You got from now to midnight. Go on and vote. We'll bring you the winners in our final slate of candidates next week. One last week to go, and then we got to just bear down, knuckle down for the postseason, which is going to be very, very busy and a lot of fun because, Aaron, you know that second Saturday in June, we're going to be on the clock because our kids are going to be on the clock too. I am Brian Carpenter, sports editor of the Meriden Record-Journal. My best to my man Aaron behind the camera, my man Shorty the Kid Krofsick, Ronnie Buck, Mr. Robert Goulot out and about, getting it done. Thank you for watching. Be good.